You ever think your biggest heartbreak will come after they're gone? Yeah, me neither. So here I am, 3 months after burying my husband, in the attic, looking for a damn box of Christmas lights. Because grief doesn't pause for the holidays. And because my mom keeps texting me things like, Tyler would want you to decorate. Right. Tyler also wanted to learn how to make sourdough and never got around to it. Anyway, I was up there sweating in a beanie and flannel, swearing at every box, until I found this old wooden crate tucked behind some luggage. One of those cigar boxes you see in old war movies. Dusty, locked. And I knew. It wasn't just full of receipts. So of course I opened it. Inside, letters. Dozens of them. Same handwriting, same woman. Every single envelope addressed to June. Not June and Callie. Not sister or old friend. Just June. I didn't even sit down. I tore the first one open like it owed me answers. June, if you're reading this, I still haven't figured out how to fix things between us. I stopped. Because what the hell was I holding? Tyler, my husband, my best friend, the man who used to draw hearts in the steam on our bathroom mirror, had been writing secret letters? My legs gave out and I just sat right there on a box of Halloween decorations, reading, shaking, crying, laughing at how stupid I felt. The first letter was dated 2011, the year we got married. He'd written her the night before our wedding. The second, right after our honeymoon. The third, 3 days before our first anniversary. And so it went. Pages and pages. Letters he wrote but never sent. Some sweet, some sad. None of them for me. And the craziest part? Not a single mention of cheating. No, I miss your body, or you complete me. These weren't love letters. At least not the romantic kind. They were something deeper. He was confessing things. Hurt, guilt, regret. By the fourth letter, I was whispering out loud, "Who are you, Tyler? Who is June?" Because my husband, the man I'd kissed goodbye before every photo trip, the man who brought me gas station flowers and called them field-picked, the man who died before we had the baby we wanted, had a whole chapter I never read. And this was page 1. It wasn't the lies that got me. It was the truth I never knew he was hiding. So I did the one thing you're not supposed to do when grief still lives in your chest. I kept reading. Letter after letter, just stacked on the kitchen table like unpaid bills. No order, no timestamps, besides the dates scribbled in the top corner. Each one like a grenade with the pin already halfway pulled. By the second night, I had poured a full glass of red and told myself, just one more. You know, like the addict I didn't know I was becoming. The 6th letter started with this. Sometimes I think she knows. I catch her looking at me like she's trying to read between the lines. That she was me. He was talking about me. And no, I didn't know. I didn't even suspect. It kept going. I never meant to shut Callie out, but some doors don't open without bringing ghosts in with them. I whispered out loud, "What ghosts, Tyler? Who the hell is this woman to you?" And I kid you not. Right then, the house creaked. Like he was still here, eavesdropping. Some letters were short, a paragraph, a line. One just said, "I saw your favorite tree today. It still turns red first. You'd love it." Others were full-on memoirs, like this one from 2015. I thought I'd be brave enough by now, to tell her, to tell June, to stop pretending I've made peace with the silence, but I'm still a coward, still stuck. I remember just sitting there, frozen. Like if I breathed too loud, the truth might disappear back into the paper. And just when I thought I was numbing to the shock, I found this gem. Callie thinks I go on these photo trips for clients. Truth is, I take a detour every time, just to see if you still live there. That was the moment. That was the line that cracked something open in me, because I remembered that trip. He brought me back a mug, said it was from a local artist. I drank my coffee from that mug for years. Turns out, it might have been a souvenir from his guilt. I called my best friend Lana. She picked up on the second ring. "Tell me you're not still up reading those letters." "I'm not," I lied. "You're totally lying." "Okay, I am. But Lana, he lied to me. He wrote her instead of talking to me." "What does that say?" She paused, then said, "It says he was scared of losing you. People bury secrets when they think the truth'll cost them love." "Or maybe," I said, "he just didn't love me enough to let me in." "Don't do that. You can love someone and still hide stuff. Doesn't make it right, but it doesn't make it unlove." I hated that she made sense, but I hated even more that this woman, June, was real. Alive. Out there somewhere, holding pieces of a man I thought was mine. And get this, not a single mention of cheating. Not once. Not even a hint. Just stories, regrets, snapshots of a past I'd never seen. That almost made it worse, because it meant this wasn't some affair. It was something else. Something I wasn't equipped to define. Not yet, anyway. It's one thing to lose your husband. It's another to find out you were never his whole story. After 47 letters, yeah, I counted, I finally asked the question out loud. Who the hell is June? I sat at the kitchen table, same place Tyler used to eat his Lucky Charms at midnight, and typed her name into Google. Nothing. No LinkedIn. No social. No photos. No hint of her life. Not even a high school reunion post. Just a name, June Holloway, and a landline, listed to a farmhouse in Vermont. Old school, rural, quiet. It felt like calling a ghost. I stared at the number for hours. When I finally dialed, I half hoped no one would pick up. Then a voice answered. Low, sharp, controlled. "This is June." I froze, like my brain short-circuited mid-sentence. Hi, I'm Callie Moore. My husband was Tyler Moore." Pause. Then another. I swear I heard her exhale like someone just knocked the wind out of her. "I was wondering when you'd call," she said. Just like that. Like she knew. Like she'd been expecting me. I blinked. "So, you knew he was married?" "Yes." Flat. No apology in her tone, just fact. But the letters were never about you and me. They were his way of keeping something alive. What does that even mean? Silence. Then she said, "You should come. I can't explain it over the phone." I had every right to hang up, scream, swear, throw the phone through a window. But instead, I asked, "Where do I go?" But because I didn't trust myself to leave right after hearing whatever the hell she was going to say. 3.5 hours later, I pulled up to a weather-beaten farmhouse that looked like it hadn't seen joy since dial-up internet. Barn out back, wind chimes on the porch, no welcome mat. June opened the door before I knocked. She looked older than Tyler, maybe 5 or 6 years. Same jawline, same eyes. Except hers had this tiredness behind them, like she'd stopped waiting for things to get better. We didn't hug, didn't smile. She led me inside, poured coffee into 2 chipped mugs, and sat down across from me at a table that could tell stories of its own. Then she said it. "I'm his sister." I laughed, like full-on short-circuited disbelieving laugh. "No, that can't be right. He never mentioned you." "I know," she said, "and I deserved that." She pulled out a letter from a drawer, one I hadn't seen, dated 3 weeks before Tyler died. "Dear June, I think I'm finally ready to tell her." I stared at his handwriting. Same curves, same pen. Then she said it again. "I'm his sister. Half-sister, technically, We had a falling out. A bad one. 20 years ago. What was it about? I asked. Family, money, resentment. Doesn't matter now. What matters is, he tried. He wrote to me when he couldn't say the words in person. My hands were cold, my coffee untouched. So those letters, they weren't about cheating? She shook her head. No, they were about guilt and time, and the fact that he didn't know how to make peace with his past without destroying his present. That one sentence, it knocked the air out of me, because suddenly I wasn't angry anymore. Just hollow. He hadn't betrayed me with love. He'd betrayed me with silence. Closure isn't always a door slammed shut. Sometimes it's one creaking open into a room you didn't know existed. So here I am, sitting across from my dead husband's estranged sister, drinking burnt coffee and staring at a letter he never meant me to read. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Like even the walls were holding their breath. June slid the letter across the table. One I hadn't found in the box. This one had been sent. Postmarked. Stamped. Creased like it had been opened and read more times than she'd admit. She said, "This was the last thing he gave me. Arrived a week before he died." I picked it up with both hands, like it might crumble. "June, this is the year I tell her. I want her to know everything. I want you to be in her life. I just don't know how to bridge the space between my silence and her trust." I read it 3 times before I looked up. "He was going to tell me?" I asked. June nodded. That was the plan. But he didn't. I said it more to myself than to her. He never told me about her. Never gave me the chance to know this part of his world. "You have to understand," June said. "Tyler never stopped feeling like it was his fault. The fight, the split. He thought if he brought me back in, it would crack what he had with you." "What was the fight even about?" I asked. She looked out the window, then said, "Our parents died. There was a house, an argument, lawyers, ugly words. I stayed. He left. We never fixed it." "Why didn't you reach out?" I asked. "I did," she said. "He didn't write back. At first." I looked down at the letter. That same handwriting I used to watch him scribble on grocery lists and birthday cards. Now staring back at me in a tone I didn't recognize. A guilt-stricken version of the man I married. "You don't get it," I said. "He could have told me. I would have understood. I would have helped." "No, you would have tried to fix him," she said. "And he didn't want to be fixed. He wanted to protect you from the mess." I swallowed hard, because she wasn't wrong. That's exactly who I was in our marriage. The one who patched, the one who filled in the gaps. But now I was looking at a gap too wide to fill. We sat there in silence for a while. Just 2 women, 1 ghost, and a kitchen full of unspoken history. Then June reached for a small tin on the windowsill, opened it, pulled out an old photo. It was Tyler, younger, smiling, arms slung around June, both of them laughing at something outside the frame. It was the first time I saw them together, really saw them. She handed it to me. "He kept everything," she said. "Every letter I wrote. Every picture we ever took." And in that moment, I didn't feel betrayed. I felt sad. Sad for the years they lost. Sad for the version of Tyler I never got to meet. But mostly, sad that it took death to bring us into the same room. Just when you think the wound's closed, the universe digs in deeper, barehanded. I was halfway to the car, keys in hand, emotionally drained, ready to leave Vermont in June and this whole other life Tyler kept in the shadows. I'd gotten what I came for, right? Answers, context, a few truths that left more bruises than bandages. Then I heard June's voice from the porch. "There's one more thing. Now, if you've ever watched a movie, You know nothing good ever follows that sentence. She held something up. Small, square, worn around the edges. A photograph. She walked over and placed it in my hand like it weighed 10 pounds. Didn't say a word. Just stood there. It was Tyler. And June. And a little boy. Toddler. Maybe 3. Dark curly hair. Big brown eyes. Tyler's eyes. They were standing in front of a cabin, laughing. Alive. On the back, in Tyler's handwriting, "Our last day together, 2007. I didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't ask the question because I was terrified of the answer, but I had to. "Who is this?" I asked, voice low. June looked me straight in the face and said, "My son." My knees almost gave out, because that wasn't the answer I expected. "He's not Tyler's," she added quickly, "not biologically." I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "But he helped raise him," she said, "for a while, before we stopped speaking, before it all fell apart." And just like that, another piece of Tyler snapped into place, a piece I never got to see. She told me stories about how Tyler used to build block towers with the kid every Sunday morning, how he bought him his first bike, how he wanted to be the kind of man his father never was. I listened, quiet, trying to picture this version of Tyler I never met. June said, "He wasn't just your husband, Callie. He was trying to be more than his past." And I got it. Not all of it, but enough. Enough to know he wasn't lying to hurt me. He was hiding parts of himself because he didn't know how to share them without breaking something else. And in the end, he broke both of us anyway. I looked down at the photo again. That smile, that moment, frozen in time. So much love, so much pain behind it. When you finally think you've closed the book, grief slides one more page under the door. I didn't say much on the drive home. Didn't cry. Didn't blast sad songs or scream at the windshield. I just drove. Vermont to Maine. 3.5 hours of silence so thick I could almost hear Tyler in the passenger seat. I pulled into the driveway around dusk. The house looked smaller, like it knew I wasn't coming back the same. I grabbed my bag, slammed the door, and that's when I saw it. A photo. Tucked into the edge of the glove box like it had been waiting for me to notice. Not in an envelope. No note. Just there. I sat back down, closed the car door, and held it up to the fading light. It was another shot of that kid. June's son. Same dark eyes. A little older here, maybe 5 or 6. This time, it was just Tyler and the boy. They were on a beach. Tyler had his camera around his neck. The kid was laughing, face mid-motion, throwing sand. And written in Tyler's handwriting on the back, "For when she's ready." My throat tightened. Had he put it there before his last trip? Did he know something I didn't? Or had June slipped it in when I wasn't looking? I didn't know. And for once, I didn't care. I just held that photo, like it was evidence. Or maybe a gift. Or maybe both. It hit me right then. Tyler had spent his whole life trying to be enough. For his past. For June. For me. And in doing that, he left us all half-filled. I leaned my head back against the seat and whispered, "You really thought this would fix it, didn't you?" I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad. I was tired. Because the truth? It doesn't set you free. It just sits beside you. Heavy. Unmoving. Waiting to be carried. And in that moment, I realized I'd been carrying his truth. Not mine. Some letters change your life. This one? It changed the way I saw mine. It was the last one. Buried in the lining of the box. Folded. No envelope. Not labeled for June. But for me. Callie, scrawled in Tyler's messy, rushed handwriting like he'd written it fast, maybe in a moment of panic or clarity or both. I didn't open it right away. It sat on the counter for 2 days. I'd walk by it like it was radioactive, pour coffee with it staring me down, sleep with it in my peripheral, because I wasn't sure if I wanted the truth, or to stay in the space between knowing and not knowing. But eventually, because curiosity is a louder voice than fear, I opened it. Callie, if you're reading this, it means I didn't get to tell you in person, and for that, I'm sorry. I've carried this for too long. I let time and pride convince me it wasn't the right moment, and then time ran out. June is my sister, my only sibling. We had a falling out so bad I thought it would never be fixable. I didn't want to drag you into that mess. I thought protecting you meant keeping you out of it. But you deserved better than silence. I want you to know something. You were my peace, my anchor, the only person who made me feel like I wasn't permanently broken. And I was trying, Callie. I really was. To find the courage, to fix the past, to be the man you already believed I was. I hope you forgive me, not because I earned it, but because you deserve the peace that forgiveness brings. There's so much I wish I said. I love you. I never stopped. Even when I was writing her, I was thinking of you. I hope the stories I didn't tell you don't erase the life we did have. Because that life, it was real. It was mine. It was ours. Tyler, I read it once. Then again. Then I just sat there, letter in hand, heart cracked open in a way no one could see but me. And for the first time since he died, I cried. Not the angry, gut-punched sobs, but the kind where everything just melts, where love and grief hold hands and finally let go. I didn't feel betrayed anymore. I felt full. Full of memories, of the man I married, of the man he wanted to be, of the man he was becoming, even if he never made it there. That letter didn't fix everything. It didn't change the fact that he kept things from me, but it gave me something I didn't expect. Closure. And not the movie ending kind, the quiet kind. The kind you whisper to yourself when no one's listening. I'm okay now. I used to think grief was about what you lost, but sometimes it's about what you find. Truths, wounds, parts of people you didn't know you were allowed to love. I'll never know the full story, but I know enough now. Enough to carry the rest of it with grace, not resentment. What about you? Ever been handed a truth too late, but exactly when you needed it? Drop your story in the comments. This space, it's for healing. Together.